We go on building our contact tracing application by adding a new class called ContactNode. ContactNode extends CompositeNode as a base class. Composite nodes are type of nodes that allow building custom nodes through adding different UI components. The UI components are part of the diagramming API. In the contact node, we will use a shape component, an image component, two text components, and a person instance that will provide the model. Before we go on, we will add an XML file that describes the layout for the contact node. In the file, we indicate we are going to use a simple panel as the layout manager for the contact node. We add a circle shape, a border, and a vertical stack panel with text fields and an image. We add some getter and setter methods for the person data: name, phone, model, and the brush and stroke. We will add now two helper methods. The first one is the static method loadXMLTemplate, which loads the XML file with the model. It builds a document from the file that it parses and returns. The findComponents method gets the components that are used in the contact node. It uses the findComponent methods that are available in the CompositeNode class. We add now a static document variable XMLTemplate in which we load the model node XMLTemplate. We add three constructors to the class. One is an empty constructor. The other accepts an instance of the diagram and sets the appearance settings of the node: outline, stroke, brush, and image align. The third constructor is the one that we will use when we have all information for the person. We set the date, name, phone, the document ID, and the appearance settings. We create a new class called DatePicker, which extends JComboBox. Then we add the class variables that we will use: a calendar instance, which is of type MindFusion Scheduling Calendar, and a simple date format variable. We add two getter methods: getCalendar, getDate, and one setter, setValue. They will help us specify the calendar that will be rendered into the drop-down combo box and the chosen date. We add a helper class called DatePopup, which extends mouse adapter and implements the combo pop-up interface. This class represents the drop-down portion of the combo box that allows us to choose the calendar date. In this class, we create a calendar and a calendar listener, which allows us to handle changes on the selected calendar date. We handle the visible date changed event and the date click event to get the date that was chosen by the user. If we get back to the final application and connect to contact nodes, here, in the dialog that appears, you can select the calendar being shown in the drop-down portion of the combo box. This is our DateTimePicker class, which uses an instance of MindFusion Scheduling for Java Swing. Let's add an enum called DialogResult, which will be used to specify if the user has provided data through the dialog or has pressed cancel. We will add now a new class called BaseView. This class implements the item listener interface of java.awt.event and extends a class called StackPanel. The StackPanel class is a JPanel that contains the entire user interface of the application, excluding the menu bar. This is the diagram, the table, and the tree view to the left. If we go to the final version of the application, here is the StackPanel. This is the diagram view with the diagram, the table at the bottom, and the tree with contact data. Let's get back to our BaseView class. We add the class variables that we'll use: a combo box with person instances for the grid, and 2 map instances, one for the person objects that were in contact with the selected employee and the other with cell editors. We add the BaseView constructor where we create a table model for the table. It contains columns for person, phone, ID. This is the grid at the bottom. We have a method that gets the cell editor of a cell. We also have a listener to the table model. This listener takes action when a new person is inserted. It creates a new combo box and adds a new table list editor to the map with editor list instances of the view. We register our custom composite node class called ContactNode with the diagram. We use the register class static method to do this. Then we create a diagram view that will host the diagram. We finish the setup of BaseView by adjusting some appearance settings for the diagram: link head shape, link segment count, diagram size, and more. We add now a private class called Table List Editor, which we used in the Table Model Listener. This class extends Cell Editor and basically creates a JCombo box with person instances instead of the default editor for the cell. We also add a private method setup dropdown, which creates a JCombo box with an item listener. An instance of the table list editor class is assigned as a cell editor to this JCombo box, and this editor is added to the editor list class variable of BaseView. We use the setup dropdown method to assign a cell editor to the third column of the table. This is the column with people. When you have multiple people that were in contact with that person, you can select them by means of a dropdown. Here it is. The last thing we are going to add to this class is the event handler for the item state changed event defined in the Java item listener interface. In it, our task is to update the cells in the 4th and 5th column of the table with the respective data from the person that is selected as a contact in the 3rd column. You can see those columns here in the application. When we change the selected contact, the rendered phone and contact date are updated thanks exactly to this event handler of item state changed. We ended part 1 of this video series with the remark that we need to add the window closed event handler in the contact dialog class. We will do this now. This is the dialog that appears when we click the Add Contact icon or draw a link between contact nodes. If the dialog was closed with cancel, we need to remove the link, if any. If the user has pressed OK, we need to check which are the 2 contact nodes connected by this link. We update the table and the tree to show the new link. We examine 2 cases. The dialog is rendered after the user has drawn a link between two nodes, or the dialog is rendered when the user has pressed the Add Contact icon in the menu. In the first case, the link is already created. In the second case, we need to create a link. And this is the end of this video tutorial. We will finish building the contact tracing manager with the menu bar and the tree view, which will be demonstrated in the next video. Thank you for watching, and see you in part 3.